What's up, Zox fam? We're back with some more GodForge. Now, I'm actually really excited for this week's exclusive leaks because we are taking a look at a very predominant figure. And I was hoping that this character would be in the game. Merlin. All right, so we have to shout out the Fateless team once again for allowing us the opportunity to do this because once again, this is a huge W. So let's go ahead and let's dive into Merlin. Now, you guys know that I am really big on like the lore of characters, so I kind of give you a little context as to who Merlin is going to, heavily correlate to. Now, the correlation for Merlin is going to definitely heavily coincide between him and King Arthur. Merlin is actually a very powerful magician that's usually depicted in, a few different like stories as far as being like a major consort to different kings. But the main one that you typically will hear about is King Arthur. Now, what's really interesting about Merlin is supposed to be a evil character, and a lot of people don't know this. Merlin's actually supposed to be just pure evil, but because of like good gestures and just good things that were done towards him, he actually decided to be good. And so with that, you basically have a character that normally gets depicted as this very evil looking-esque type character, but he's really actually a evil character that turns good, or someone that has the potential to be evil but just is good, right? So of course with that, what it seems like GodForge is doing here, they have a couple of different things it looks like for just kind of like the character vision boarding here. So it says through his ability to change his shape, he may appear as a wild man figure invoking that of his prototype. I think this is Merlin. Willett, I think is how you say that, as a civilized man of any age, including as a very young child, or even as a talking animal. His guise can be highly deformed and animalistic, even when Merlin is presenting as a human or a humanoid being. So that is one of his abilities. He does have the ability to shapeshift, but again, he's a very powerful wizard. So I'm actually kind of interested in how they're going to implement and like kind of show that in his like kit, right? So we'll kind of zoom in just a little bit so we can get some like POVs or point of references basically of what they were thinking of. So it looks like they had a ton of different references here. They even have the Grand Oak from Raid here. They have I think, what is this, Bernog the Elder? Yeah, so that's another unit from Raid here. And so, yeah, there's a ton of different references here, just kind of, again, showing like mage archetypes and like, I guess, other types of units with like robes and swords, because you can do like mix combinations of that. So this was like what they were just generally, it looks like, thinking, which, honestly, this is like a lot to digest because there's a lot of different ways you could depict a character like this. But what it looks like they actually decided to kind of use as like one of their main, I would say kind of like, I guess kind of like influences or inspirations was this picture here, which I think is a very like traditional, just kind of an easy go-to when you're just kind of thinking of characters like Merlin. You kind of think about older wizards. Now, the thing that is interesting, like they mentioned about Merlin, is that he is a character that can be depicted at any age. I think that this is something I kind of mentioned when we were talking about Beowulf, that it's a character that can be like, really honestly depicted at any age because he can't shapeshift. So that is like a thing there. Now, as far as the GodForge design, this looks like to be a couple of different concepts that they were going with. Now, I don't know if this is going to be playing into the good nature and the bad nature of him, which would be kind of cool to see like this duo kind of archetype type unit in the game. That would actually be really sick. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, listen, you guys might have to pay me for that idea. No, I'm kidding. But either way, it's really cool just to see like there's different, just different approaches to, again, like kind of the good nature and the bad nature that he really kind of taps into, right? Now, it says, what if we give him heterochromia, which is basically a different color or like different colored eyes, essentially, is what that is, right? And that's usually, it's considered like a birth defect, but a lot of us, like when we see it, it's cool to see like somebody having a green and a blue eye, or a gray and a brown eye, or something like that. But the reference point as to why they're doing it for Merlin is basically so that they can reflect in a way that he was the son of Incubus and a human woman, which is another key factor as to why he's able to tap into the power that he has. So I think a part of his lore, which is like really important to note, is that he technically, and this is why you have the portion of his lore referencing him being evil, he technically can tap into demonic powers. And that was kind of like the whole thing about Merlin. A lot of people were scared of him because of that, right? And like in those folklores and just kind of like the whispers amongst people, that's what they were being told, like, hey, this guy can tap into evil magic, right? So that actually is a huge part of that. When you look at who the Incubus is, that is a huge part into the reason why he's able to tap into. I mean, there's other factors, but that, of course, is definitely one of the base factors, at least, right? So I think that those little touches are actually really nice because it does hone in a little bit more into the overall lore of the character. Now, I will say, like I said, I personally feel like this is kind of an interesting take because he looks like he's older, right? Obviously with the white beard, gray eyebrow or white eyebrows, etc. But he looks still battle ready, which is kind of cool. Like, right? Like, he doesn't look like just like some like, oh, I'm this frail old man. He looks like he still will run hands or throw hands with you in a fight. And what I really like is just the contrast in just the colors, right? Like, you definitely have like more of like a woodland forest feel on the left side, where you definitely kind of step more into a dark mage, kind of feel on the kind of like that dark foresty feel on the right side. So it's like the same character but two different vibes. And that's why I was like, dude, if they do like an archetype, like where he like can shift based off of like certain effects, or you can pick different builds for him, that would be insane, right? So really cool design for him. Now, of course, they also have some other things that it looks like they're tapping into here, just kind of showing us some more of the layering that they're seeming to kind of work out. It's also like some of this looks a little cleaner as well. And I think that this is just because this is just an overall, just like kind of generalized sketch and just outlining of the character. And then we also kind of can see the back, right? So like you see Merlin. Merlin also, I think another big thing is like, especially when you're talking about like referencing King Arthur, like dragons were like a really big thing. So you kind of see like some of that dragon, like I would say kind of referencing on the back here. And you see that via the dragon wings here. And of course, with the side profile, you just kind of can see how like this specific outfit just kind of drapes. And even the muscle, right? Like this isn't like some frail old dude, right? He got some muscle right here. And then of course they show Merlin's staff. And I think Merlin's staff is also a really big like part to the character, because it's something that's referenced and mentioned a lot. Merlin also uses I forget what the name of the book is, but it's a predominant wizard book that sometimes gets referenced when speaking about Merlin. So this is just like really cool stuff to see, right? Like really cool. Now, of course, it looks like they have some other stuff here. So they basically said they basically want the heterochroma so that we can reflect in a sort of way that he was an incubus with a woman again. And this looks to be just like a little bit more of a close-up on the face. So this actually looks a lot cleaner on the eye, because the other picture, it looks like the eye was just like completely white, but it looks like what they're doing is they're kind of going with like the purple hue here, and then he just kind of has like his regular color eye, and that's actually really cool. I like those little attention to details. That's actually really cool. And then this next one here, oh, there it is. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I didn't even look at these ahead of time. Swear I did it. I literally like just kind of scrolled through them because I want to give you guys my raw reaction to a lot of these designs. Obviously I see what character it is, but I don't actually like really seriously look at these. So it's kind of funny because here's this book right here. So with that, of course, we kind of start to see like kind of like this aurora effect around him, which I think is really cool, coming from the Vow on around his waist. You kind of see like there's more development here. There's scrolls, there's pouches. You even see like this little blade, like a sacrificial blade. So like, yeah, there's a lot of little details that you start seeing being added in, and then even down to the bottom, excuse me, of the cloak, you start to kind of see like, is this like an aura coming off of the bottom, like darkness aura? Like, and I'm just kind of wondering, like, I'm wondering if they're going with more of a demented depiction of Merlin, or is this still that traditional Merlin that had favor shown to him? Because again, in GodForge, I think it's fair to say that anything can happen, right? And then we even kind of see here on the staff, you kind of have that toad-esque entity being shown here with like the woodland kind of wyvern dragon, like dark foresty feel here, which is really cool. And then you kind of have like that dark crystal at the bottom, which I'm wondering if that's imbued with like some of his power, right? If he's able to use that in any way. So yeah, this looks really, really good. And I think that, of course, like, I don't know if it was ever mentioned. I feel like it might have been, but like, if at any point they're going to be doing like exclusive items or equipment to characters, I could definitely see that being a thing, right? Like where you have like Merlin's book and then the Merlin staff, and it gives you like some extra or additional effect to the character. That would be kind of interesting to see if they mess around with that at all. But all in all, I feel like this is definitely one of the characters I'm actually really excited to try to get. Like, I will say this is probably one of my favorite designs so far. Like, honestly. And I think because like I am definitely a lore buff, but I specifically like, I love like the Camelot folklore and like King Arthur, Merlin. I like really love that specific folklore. So yeah, this character is definitely in my top 5, easy, right? So that's gonna be that with this one, guys. I'm interested to know how you guys feel. How do you guys feel like this design just feels, right? How is it coming across? I feel like they did an excellent job with this character. Definitely something, like I said, I'm really interested in, but let me know how you guys feel. Again, shout out to the Fateless devs for allowing us this opportunity. But everyone, that's gonna be that with this one. Stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.